Now will we see the magic?
All right, where's Murray? Okay, who is it?
This is Jesus, kid.
Know then that it is the year 10,191.
Yes, we are bored. We're all bored now.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Hello, and welcome to Mary versus the Movies with your host, Mary Jones.
And Dennis Ling.
And you're still doing that, aren't you?
Yeah. It's still season 2.
Well, and it is not only season 2, it is episode 31, which blows
Whoa.
my mind. How have we gone this long? Anyway, this week, episode 31, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark?
Yay.
This
So guess
is-
what I just found out?
What?
This is our second Cassandra Peterson movie.
Wait, what else has she been in?
She was the biker mama in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Right! Oh my
Yeah.
god, I completely forgot.
Yay.
Yeah. So now, does she come out of like the groundlings and stuff?
I think so.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know anything about what happens in this movie. I have just I know who Elvira is.
Yep.
Elvira, of course, is the alter ego persona, whatever. Go ahead.
She's the national Stella.
She is the national Stella. That's right. I don't remember if I kept it in last week's episode or not, but you know, Stella, the man-eater from Manioc, was like a local horror host, and of course, Elvira was. I guess did she just start in L.A.
Yeah.
doing it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be.
This was a thing. Like if you're not old enough, or if you're not American, you may not know that local television stations would buy old movies, the rights to show old movies, and their whole gimmick would be that there would be a host, especially on like Saturday evenings or sometimes afternoons or whatever, especially horror movies, because the old like horror movies were very cheap and easy to get on TV. Back when there was a lot more localism on television, which you don't have a lot of that now. All of the major networks are, well, they're major networks. They're all owned by, you know, the big conglomerates who basically television and movies became the same companies, so that the Disney Corporation owns ABC, and Comcast, which is also Universal, owns NBC.
Yeah, we have a friend in Ohio who would go to, there's a sci-fi movie festival every year. I've read stories about how like this is being hurt by Disney owning Fox, and now Disney won't let Fox sci-fi movies be shown at these things. Just kind of like out of nowhere. So,
well, it's not out of nowhere, because why have these festivals, which isn't going to make them any money, when you can just force everyone to buy your streaming service?
right.
Exactly.
But it's movies that some of these movies that no
they're
one
not
would ever
streaming.
buy.
Yeah, no, nobody would ever. You know, like it'd only be geeks who would be into them, but you know, they just don't care. So you used to be able to watch a lot of this stuff on TV, and there are still like at least one. There's at least one horror host like this still out there, which is Sven Gulli.
Well, two, because we know about the that Buffalo show.
Oh, that's right. There is that show out of Buffalo. I don't know. Is that still on?
I think so.
But like there used to be a whole bunch. Like Goulardi was a big one. You know, in Philadelphia we had Stella, and I guess before that there was somebody else. I just watched Gremlins 2. And they have a guy in there who's dressed like Dracula, and that's his thing, is he does that. You know, if you watched SCTV, Count Floyd, that whole idea. So Elvira started off as one of these horror hosts on, I guess, like an LA station. You know, she's also like a comedian, and I don't know how she jumped from I'm hosting movies to whatever this movie is, her own adventure. But I'm not surprised. Because, like, I don't know, she's just got this very kind of fun, sexy goth, I don't know, what would you call it? Like, shtick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how the bridge was made. I don't know what this movie, I don't know what actually happens in this movie.
I don't know much about it. I do know some of the background of this movie, that apparently
Oh, okay.
NBC wanted to make a TV show with her, like a sitcom.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
And she really wanted to do a movie, and she said if I got locked into a sitcom, like she probably wouldn't get the chance to do a movie, and so she wanted to do a movie first.
And I don't believe the film was successful.
Nah.
No, I have a feeling it was a bomb.
But also it was Tarkinen or
Oh, yeah, Brandon Tartikoff?
Yeah. He was the one that was just obsessed with her.
How could you not be?
I know.
Right?
And he wanted to make a sitcom with her, and she, by the time this movie had been made, or after this movie, he was let go from NBC.
Really?
And that's what kind of killed the show for her.
Oh, okay. I'm not going into this expecting a very good movie. I'm just more like, this is very much a curiosity. I don't really know what it is, but it's the end of October. This is the episode that drops right before Halloween. And what better than to follow the adventures of a horror hostess doing I don't know what.
Maybe it's the Seventh Seal.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, shall we go watch the movie?
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flamingo Hotel is proud to present the Mistress of the Dark, Elvira.
I've always dreamed of doing this, and now I've got my chance. So excuse me while I indulge myself in a little song and dance.
Look, it's not high art. It's not even considered a cult classic, I don't think.
No, although it was sort of a hit when it was released on video. So
here's the thing. It's a lot better than I was expecting. There are some parts that are a little slow and could have been directed a little better.
yeah, if Tim Burton had done this, wow, this
Yes.
would have been pretty amazing.
Oh my God, no! If Tim Burton had been the director, this would have blown everybody away.
Yeah.
It's not. In fact, I don't know the guy who directed. I think mostly
A
just
TV guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. I mean,
I think he did commercials and stuff on SNL, fake commercials. So
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. It definitely has a very television feel, but
Yeah.
a good TV movie.
But she holds it together though,
She really does.
because she's so much fun.
Oh my goodness. But to be fair, she has it. Some of the supporting cast, mostly as villains, are really good, and she does pull from the groundlings. I mean, Edie McClurg in this is just so wonderful.
Who is she?
Oh, she is. Edie McClurg plays Chastity Pariah, and
Oh, I
she's
thought
she's
that
so
cleared
good.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, she is great in this. I mean, I'm always happy to see her in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's got kind of the kind of rapid joke cadence. It's got a bit of a cartoony feel.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it.
The head with two things. I mean, the thing with two heads.
Yeah. As I was watching this, I'm like, yeah, it's like schlocky goth Mae West.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of double entendres,
Mhm.
a lot of single entendres,
Yeah.
and two very double D. Anyway, the plot of the movie is pretty simple. It's basically like a gothic tale. Elvira is a TV horror hostess, I guess in LA,
Yeah.
who wants to go to Vegas and have her own review, which is kind of interesting because it's a reverse story of Peterson's own actual career, where she started off as a Vegas showgirl and then moved to LA and became a horror hostess.
But maybe that was her plan, because I know she was about to just quit acting when she was 30. She was and this isn't working out. And so maybe back then she was thinking of going. She didn't get Elvira until she was 31 or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, she wasn't a kid when she got it.
Yeah.
But God, I have no idea if she had thought about, well, maybe I can go back to Vegas. But the idea in the movie though is that her dream is to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
And to not be a low level TV horror hostess. Although to be honest, who wouldn't want to be a TV horror host? I would love that. Ooh, what would my horror hostess name be? Oh, obviously Scary Mary or Bloody Mary or
Yeah.
Mary Macabre. Scary Mary Macabre.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, Dennis, what? You're my sidekick.
I'm Devil Jelly.
You're Devil Jelly. Yes. Oh my God, Scary Mary and Devil Jelly.
The funny thing is, you're holding an iPad right now,
Yeah.
and it's reflecting up on your face, so you have like the under.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I've got perfect cackles for this, man.
Lansdale? Like what from Lansdale?
Oh, Scary Mary and Devil Jelly from Lansdale. I don't know. What Lansdale has to be something
Lurkers
else.
from Lansdale.
The Lurkers
or-
from
I don't
Lansdale.
know.
Write in and tell us what we are from Lansdale for our horror hosting gig. Oh gosh. Okay, so you're a devil. Do I just go like in like a buxom witch?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, I, unlike Elvira in this film, have not had a wealthy relative who I don't actually know die and leave me a house and a dog and a recipe book.
A witch?
I don't think I have any witches in my family. We did have a psychic sexton, which is a whole other story.
Oh, was his name Sexy?
No, his name was Sex Golden.
Sexy.
I mean, his first name I think was like John Golden, but they called him Sex Golden because he was a sexton at the church. Look, it's upstate Pennsylvania. What, you think it's weird to call somebody Uncle Sex? Does that sound inappropriate to you?
Sex Golden.
Yes. This my mother's distant cousin, Sex Golden.
Sexy.
He was psychic, and
I just feel like so many jokes have been missed with this guy.
well, look, he died 100 years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Someone did.
Yeah.
Someone had fun with Sex Golden.
Look, I never thought about it until you pointed out how weird it was that they called it. His nickname was Sex. I mean, he didn't. Okay, it wasn't.
Did he look like Pedro Pascal or?
Sorry. Wait a minute. Does anybody in my family look like Pedro Pascal?
No, I guess not.
No, we are the white. Look, Dennis, I'm so white. I'm red. Okay, like I'm clear. Yeah. There are sadly no hot swarthy Latin men in my family.
So anyway, Aunt Witch.
Aunt Witch, yes. Her Aunt Morgana, which, I mean, personally, I'm just happy they used the name Morgana because, you got the whole Morgan Le Fay or Morgaus or whatever, that whole thing.
Wow, this uses Morgan Le Fay more than Sword of the Valiant.
Oh my God, what the hell? Again, Sword of the Valiant, like, I'm still mad about
Sorry,
that.
I didn't mean to
Nope,
bring up a
that's
bad
fine.
topic there. Sorry.
Aunt Morgana dies and leaves Elvira, her house, her dog, and her recipe book up in Falwell, Massachusetts, which we soon learn is a very conservative town that makes Footloose look like Reno. It's apparently named for Reverend Falwell, of course. There's still a Falwell, even now, who's making trouble for people, although he's mostly making trouble for himself.
And at that time, from like the 80s to like the mid 90s, that was like a huge deal in popular culture. Like Falwell and Tammy Faye Baker.
Yeah.
Like they were huge enemies of fun.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there was that whole part of the culture. And this is a movie like making fun of all of
And
that.
this led to the whole PMRC thing with Rage Against the Machine.
Which you actually had to see standing out in the JFK parking lot.
Yeah, well, it was actually JFK. This was before they knocked it down.
Oh, okay.
But so this was Lollapalooza. Famously, Rage Against the Machine came out to protest against the PMRC, who was, for
Typical
censorship
Ursula,
and all that.
yeah.
People, oh, that was great. Well, and I was like, I wanted to see them play. I didn't want to see them just naked with PMRC on them and walk out. I couldn't even see it.
Yeah.
I saw it on the video, I guess, but.
So Elvira goes off to Massachusetts to claim her inheritance, and she's convinced that she's going to get the $50,000 she needs to mount her show in Vegas, and of course she finds out that's not what's happening at all, and instead she gets the house, the dog, and the recipe book, as we've said. And she's quite upset about this, but nowhere near as upset as her Uncle Vincent, who originally was going to be played by Vincent Price, who unfortunately did not, but instead is played by W. Morgan Shepherd, who...
It was good. Choose some scenery.
Oh, no, he's
fun.
fine in this. No. I like him in this. He plays a good creepy uncle who wants to get the recipe book away from her. But in the meantime, she's trying to get along as best as she can in town with the idea of trying to figure out what to do with herself in order to get the money to go to Vegas. Because she doesn't really want to stay in this town because it's a town against fun, where there's like a town council.
Plus, she's trying to stir up trouble.
Well, she's not. But no. She's not trying to stir up trouble.
Well, she's
her
trying to at
presence
least.
Is trouble.
She's trying to get with somebody.
Well, okay. Once she gets into this little town, which is this kind of, boring town where there's nothing much to do except that there is one movie house, and she meets the guy who runs the movie house, and his name is Bob Redding. Now, here's the thing. Bob Redding is actually named for Peterson's old writing partner, Robert Redding, who helped her create Elvira, and he had just apparently died of AIDS, and so the inclusion of this character was kind of meant to be a tribute to him. So I found that kind of sad, really, and finding out later. But in the film, he is this big hunky guy who runs the movie house, but he's only allowed to show G-rated stuff. Meanwhile, in love with Bob is Patty, the woman who runs the bowling alley and diner in town. So obviously now there's a rivalry between Elvira and Patty for Bob. The town council is headed by Chastity Pariah, who is played by Edie McClurg, who is great in this. I'm always happy when I see Edie McClurg in something. The town is absolutely aghast at, this loose woman who is, well, I mean, you can picture Elvira has come into their little town, and her very presence just invites anarchy.
She's essentially like Harold Hill.
Oh, yeah, no, there's definitely a music... In fact, if I remember correctly, the backlot that they used for this, some of it is the old set for River City in The Music Man. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's definitely a Music Man, Howard Hill sort of element there. She
if only this had Buddy Hackett. That's what this movie needed.
Not a phrase you hear very often, but all right. Boy, imagine if this had been a musical.
Oh, no, that's something.
See, now, if there had been oh my God, imagine if this had been like a musical with the guys who wrote Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah. Now we're saying all this what if stuff. It is a really fun movie.
It is a fun movie.
It's dumb, but it's fun.
Like, that's the thing. Don't misunderstand me. I enjoyed this movie. Was it the best movie we've seen? No. Was it? If it came on like television, would I sit and watch it? Yeah. I mean, it's good dumb fun.
She said that there's like a ton of jokes that she and Joe wrote that were cut by NBC as being too John. Yeah, sorry. Cut by NBC for being too racy, and man, I would love to see those jokes.
Oh my God, I would love to see the uncensored version of this movie if it exists.
It was never filmed. It was just they apparently just had a lot of fun just writing a script, and then they brought in this TV guy who cleaned it up and made it dumb.
In the 21st century, you definitely could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, she sort of starts hooking up with Bob, which angers Patty, and then she conspires with the town council, and obviously Uncle Vincent's like, this is great, I can use all of this to my advantage so that I can get the recipe book, which of course we find out is a book of spells, because Vincent is an evil magician. Aunt Morgana was a good witch, but so apparently was Elvira's mother. And so it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it turns out I have this whole secret inheritance that I knew nothing about because Elvira was left as a baby at a convent raised by nuns. There's this whole like dog familiar, which turns out to be the little poodle who can change shape. It's like kind of all these kind of goofy gothic elements, but also like horror movie elements.
There's a quick flashback of her as a baby, and I think she even has boobs as a baby,
and the big wig, and all of the eye makeup. It's really funny looking, actually. Elvira only discovers that she's actually like has magic powers by accident, because when she gets out the recipe book, she really thinks it's a recipe book, and she's just like, this thing looks like casserole, I'll make a casserole. And she starts dumping all these ingredients into a pot, and it's things like worms and mold and all this stuff, and classic witch's brew sort of thing. Brings it out, smells like casserole, opens it up, and of course a big alien monster creature jumps out and tries to eat her and Bob. So now that she knows she's a witch, she wants to get back at the council who have been causing trouble because oh, she's hanging out with the teens and she tries to get the movie house up and running, doing horror movies. And so you get a little bit of her actual shtick as a horror hostess, which is fun. All the teens in town just absolutely go crazy for her because she's fun and she's irreverent and she's having them do things like sneak out of the house to go to midnight movies, and the town council is trying to get her arrested, and Patty sabotages the midnight show by dumping tar and feathers on her during the performance, and it's all these things. So obviously Elvira wants to get her back, and now that she knows that she's a witch, she takes out the rest of people, and she tries to do the same thing because she wants to let loose this gremlin on the town purity picnic. Was it called like a purity picnic or something like that? Something to that effect, where there's not a real good line between church and state in this town. But she gets the ingredients slightly wrong.
You know what? It's a little bit like that speech at the beginning of Witches of Eastwick.
Oh, this is actually kind of an interesting companion piece to Witches of Eastwick, which is another movie about witches in New England. That's definitely a thing. The Salem witch trials still kind of holds a big psychic space in a lot of the United States, not just because of the Crucible. Obviously, that comes out a lot at Halloween because, spooky witches, whatever. But yeah, there is something to the whole idea of, if there is any like kernel of interesting idea in a movie like Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, that goes beyond, hey, it's fun. The idea that an extremely religiously conservative town would turn on the person who is really not doing anything not doing anything terrible. She's just exposing kids to fun movies and enjoying themselves. Nothing, actually terrible or dangerous within the context of the film anyway. They band together and decide she is a witch. We have to burn her at the stake. That's not an uncommon element in American history.
I think it's the paint job that did it, though. On her house.
They really hated that. They hated that paint. This was straight up like that architecture shaming group on Facebook.
Yeah,
they saw how she got the house painted, and is it garish? I mean, it's like one of those houses in Cape May, only more so. So of course I'm looking at this. I'm just like, I want to live in this house. The teenagers all decide to repaint the house, so it's like purple and pink and green, and it's like all these garish colors. But here's the thing. Victorian houses often wear those garish colors. So I'm just like, I think that looks great. I might have done a little bit more symmetry in how I would have painted it, but in terms of the actual colors chosen, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, you can imagine how Tim Burton would have done that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Can you imagine, if he got to have, bring in, an art direction on this?
Yeah.
It would have been a more visually interesting movie.
So anyway, she tries to get back at the townsfolk, and she creates a love potion instead of a gremlin, and
a
hijinks ensue.
Well, an old person orgy breaks out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot of
sitting on faces, and
it's take out the dentures. Let's go. It's a real lemon party. Uncle Vincent convinces the town now to just burn her at the stake. She is arrested. Vincent gets his hands on the spell book. But it turns out that she doesn't necessarily need the spell book because she's got the magic ring and she has the power within her, which is, kind of typical. I guess she's able to call down rain to put the fire out.
Right.
So,
also, the dog helps. The dog kind of does a lot of the
the dog does do a lot of work. Yeah. Oh my God, they've even built a little pyre to burn the dog at the stake, too.
Now that was funny.
Yeah. Basically, it's all leading up to the ending where she goes up against the uncle, and the uncle's magic powers, she ends up being able to reverse them against him as he is coming after her in her house, but the house burns down around her. The spell is broken, and everybody, who is left realizes actually no, life is a lot better with having her able to bring some life into the town. And it is that kind of typical end of the movie where the outcast is actually accepted by the society for being weird. It's the, again, like you brought up the Music Man, it's that kind of a thing.
Yeah, and all the kids get the instruments and uniforms, they march down the street. It was great.
But because old Uncle Vincent is dead and she is the last heir, it turns out now she gets his stuff. And it's great for her because it turns out she gets her $50,000, and then the very end of the movie is we see her in Vegas, and she is putting on her show, and we get a musical number
and a tassel twirl.
Boy, do we get a tassel twirl!
Pretty much the theme of the movie is this tassel twirl. The whole thing, it builds up to that.
It really does, and that's the end of the movie. Is her dreams come true?
It's like I know you people came here for one thing, and here it is.
And we are okay with it. Yeah, so what I find interesting is just it's of the 80s insofar as part of the theme of the movie is that sort of revanchist conservatism of the time period, as you had brought up. Like this is very much, the moral majority, what was a political force, and in a lot of ways still is a political force. It ebbs and flows, but we're in a rising tide of this sort of thing. In fact, I feel like our culture is getting more socially conservative. And in a lot of places, people are freaking out and, storming school boards in a way that the people in Falwell, Massachusetts wouldn't find weird at all. So we need our Elviras, man. We need our horror hostesses with big, chests and ridiculous jokes. And what I'm saying is, anyway, so I'm ready for headshots. Okay. I do need a couple of writers, I can improvise a little bit, but I'm not great. So I am open to bringing on a writer or two. Let me know. Are you willing to put on a bodysuit? Just like jumpsuit. Do you remember Hecubus on Kids in the Hall? Dave Foley as the sidekick. That's how I'm picturing you. Just a black bodysuit, and we'll put like devil horns on you. I
think I just want to be a skeleton.
You just. Oh, are you just gonna? We're just gonna like put a skeleton suit on you?
No, I want to be the voice of skeleton from like the House on Haunted Hill. It just kind of gets like wheeled out and stuff.
So basically, you want to be a puppet.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Are you a skeleton or are you a devil?
Well, I can be called Devil Jelly and be a skeleton. I can be a devil skeleton. That's fine, right? You can have horns.
You're gonna have horns coming out of your skull.
I'll have one horn, like Beelzebub or whatever his name was.
Hellboy?
No, from the Apple.
Oh, Mr. Boogaloo.
Mr. Boogaloo, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that was Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. You can contact us on Twitter. We are Mary VS Movies at Twitter. We are maryvsmovies@gmail.com. Please write to us with any comments, questions, complaints, or corrections, or suggestions for that matter. Next week, tentatively. Now, Spooky Month is technically over. It'll be November. But frankly, there are not like a bunch of Thanksgiving movies out there that I have not seen. So, we're going to open it back up. And it was suggested to us by a listener, suggested the movie Angel Heart.
Oh, yeah. So, until next time.
My name is Elvira, but you can call me Tonight. It feels weird giving the sign-off.